yoga class, for example, they're doing nice stretches in the body, but you're around other women. That's a tribal feeling. And they're playing nice soft music. Nobody's having an argument. Nobody's competing with anybody. You're just doing your thing. And there's a leader, someone you're depending upon to guide you. And it's, it's all very feminine in that way. And this is very funny because, I started doing yoga at 3 years old. My dad taught me. And then I went off to India, become a master of yoga and all that. And the way we do it in India, the way it was taught, where that yoga comes from, is for men. And you do it alone. You don't do it with other people. And you don't do it to beautiful music, You do it alone and in silence. But you see, now women are more on their male side. So there's certain aspects of yoga that supports the male side, which is challenging your muscles, holding poses and so forth. But you're doing it with other women. You're doing it with a leader guiding you. And that is whenever you're following the leader, your estrogen levels get produced. Doesn't mean you follow the leader down the wrong path, but you find someone who can guide you. Dancing with a man, in old-fashioned traditional dancing. You see, it was invented because it's a place where women feel I can trust him to make all the right moves because we've taken the class together. Today, everybody's they're doing their own thing when they're dance. This is very testosterone producing. And there's a place for it, but then there's a place for having set steps where he knows what to do, where she can trust that he's going to swing her this way, he's going to twirl her this way, and she can go with his lead and flow with it. And that's basically allowing him to be your male side and you're on your female side and you go into that balance. Same thing as making love. You're allowing a man to do it to you. You're not giving to him. You're responding to him, always responding. You don't have to give to a man. A man ultimately wants to feel successful in giving to you. And because you're receiving and because you're actually in love, as you receive, his own female side is being nourished and supported. So he can be both masculine and feminine at the same time. You, on the other hand, are being able to receive someone doing for you. So your own male side, you're appreciating him doing for you. You're actually appreciating your own male side. I mean, this is you're inviting it in. You're saying you're a part of me. You're embracing that part of you. So you don't have to go out to your male side to feel the joy of your power. See, that's the power. You can be in your feminine side and also feel power. And then you come out, you go over to your male side, you go over your female side. But we need this place where we can be our male and female side at once. Now, it's not the only place to do it. Like right now, I'm on my male-female side. I'm in the flow. When I write a book, I'm in the flow. Most of the time, I'm in the flow all the time. However, still making love, we actually have someone of the opposite sex where you're connecting with. You actually can go to a place of higher hormonal balance. Now, I'm not a gay person, so I don't know if they can get to that place. So if they can, that's great. But what I do know is just like heterosexuals who lose their passion happens in gay relationships as well. And I'm not an expert on that. What I do know is that when you're heterosexual and you're looking to your partner to find a part of yourself and love it. If you're on your male side and you have a woman, you can go to your female side by loving her and be on both sides at the same time. If you're in a gay relationship, that's more challenging because you're a female and you're going to another female. So you find a female who's more on the male side. And so you're finding it through them. But how are they finding their female side? By being on their male side. What I recommend for them, because they tend to also polarize, one's on the male side, one's on the female side, more so, is consciously change roles from time to time. Consciously do it. Just say, I'm usually the dominant one here. Let's practice me being the more yielding, submissive one, and you're more dominant. Because you can play games. You can just simply to generate those hormones. You see, to balance your hormones, you can't just depend on the person in your relationship. You have to have other types of situations as well.
Right.
You see, as a man, I can never depend on my wife for my testosterone. I depend on her to increase my estrogen and my testosterone. But I have my work, my success raises my testosterone. And then through her, I can bring my estrogen up. And for women, if to find their balance, they need to have lots of relationships and not just depend on him for their estrogen. They have many types of relationships for progesterone and for estrogen. Keeping this in mind, it's when women are receiving, their estrogen goes up. When they're giving without expecting a result, their progesterone goes up. So that's interesting distinction. Behaviors stimulate different hormones. If you're giving to get, you're making testosterone. You're too far on your male side. But if you're giving without the attachment to getting, then you're just helping, you're supporting without a demand. And that works best if you also have estrogen. So actually in women's physiology, while they're still cycling, you can see this natural balance that women seek to achieve in their life and need to achieve for the embodiment of their soul, to be in love, is part of the time they're receiving. So upward towards ovulation, you need to receive more. But then from your ovulation to your period, your body needs to make more progesterone than estrogen. That's very interesting. Now, progesterone is produced when you're giving without expecting something in return. So you can't just make progesterone. You also have to be making estrogen, but progesterone has to be higher. So there's times when you need, as a woman, to give, but you need to give also with estrogen. And there's times when you need to give rather than receive, because receiving produces estrogen and giving produces progesterone. And one of the problems women have that's very common today is called estrogen dominance. So it's after they ovulate, their estrogen stays too high and their progesterone goes low. And that means they're not satisfied. They're picky. Nothing is satisfying to them because they're not giving enough. So there is a place where women need to give, but it always needs to come from a place of having received. So it's kind of like if somebody does something really nice for you, and that would be your estrogen peaks. Now you're still remembering how much support you have in your life, but you want to give back. And that's the progesterone side. And so there's this cycle that women have to master to various degrees of, I receive and now I want to give back. And now I receive and now I want to give back. And this whole testosterone thing, unfortunately, giving to get, that means working for money, that produces testosterone. And testosterone inhibits progesterone production. This is biology. To make testosterone, your body has to use up your progesterone. Testosterone is made from progesterone. So it causes you to go into a focus of what am I getting? What am I getting? What am I getting? As opposed to what's available, enjoying what you have. And that's the ability to appreciate what you have and to give freely because you have a sense of abundance in your life. So dating needs to be from the place of, I'm not desperate. I have not succeeded in previous relationships because I didn't have good relationship skills. So I'm going to use dating to improve my relationship skills with somebody who's not a diamond, but has a certain level of standard, but certainly not the perfect person. So I hope that addresses that concern you had about lowering your standards. It's still, and you can be with, normally I teach women, if you've had the pattern of having sex with men and they don't call back, then you're having sex with the wrong men. You're turned on to the wrong men. So in that case, you need to date men that you're not turned on to right away and let them do nice things for you. And then maybe you will get turned on.